Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Rhonda Lee Jones Comedy Lab. I'm Rhonda Lee Jones. Welcome to my lab. I've got some stuff for you today, but first I want to give a shout out to. I've got people who commented. I'm so excited. I was so excited when I saw the notification in the middle of the week and couldn't get to my stuff. So I've just sort of checked it out. I've got, and if I leave anybody out, I'm sorry. I'm new at this, so just kind of getting into my groove with this thing. I want to say hi to a couple of people. Base Drip, hi guy. You subbed my channel. I'm so excited about that. Thank you for your kind comments. And I got something very helpful from Brigham Ritchie, who was telling me to use. I'm sorry, I don't know what this is or how you say it, but I'm going to check it out. Definitely. If you know more about what I'm doing than I do as far as this channel, creating a channel, and you probably do, definitely tell me, give me the tools to use to make it better. I'm going to try out smzeus.com to increase subscriptions. I'm going to check that out and see what it's all about and how I can use it. And hopefully I'm going to be at some point getting a better camera situation than just using what comes with the computer, because sometimes there are technical difficulties, as you can see from last week. So yeah, the channel, for people who are just tuning in, is for, I'm a comedian, and I've been doing it less than a year, so I'm a newbie comedian. And what I wanted to do is I just want to have something where you can kind of follow along the journey. And if you're wanting to get up there on stage but haven't quite gotten to a point where you can do that yet, I just want to sort of let you see what it's like and what it feels like, and that it's not this big scary thing. It is a big scary thing, but it's something that you can get through and get up there and have these really great experiences. And also know that on the nights when it's not so great, that's fine too. That's part of all of it. All of it. You never know what's going to happen when you're up there. And also for fans of comedy who just want to kind of see what goes on in a comedian's head, and anyone who's more experienced with comedy who is enjoying my channel because I don't know, you want to feel a little superior because you know more. That's fine, or just to be reminded of the basics, because I'm kind of reinventing the wheel for myself a little bit with these comedy experiments. Not completely, because I am researching this as I go along, but I just want to share it with you as it's relevant in my life. So maybe the energy from it can kind of get to you and help you out with whatever questions that you're struggling with in your comedy life. Because those questions and struggles never go away. I'm thinking, you never get to a point where you're like, okay, I got this. If you do, you're probably going to not be learning and growing anymore. But one thing that I've been doing lately is I had this set that I did. I just took out a new set this week a couple of times, and it's called Swamp Bacon because it was about me being in the swamp with alligators. And yeah, it was funny in retrospect. And the point of me using that to make a video was that I pulled back a little bit from just going out and doing a lot of material and throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. I wrote this set with the intention of really focusing on that set and really practicing that set in the room a lot before even taking it out. And let me tell you, it was great. I didn't have to use my notes at all. I didn't even take notes up there, honestly. I didn't want them in my hand. And I remembered the story, perfectly. There were things in the set that I did forget to bring up that would have been, some funny little moments. But that's fine. The set did really well. I had people coming up to me afterwards, which for me is an indicator, that it touched them somehow. They had to come say hi. And so it was a mellow-ish audience, but it was like an engaged mellow audience, which is kind of weird. You never know what's going to happen when you get up there. It's kind of like these videos. I never know what's going to happen when I sit in front of this laptop to talk to you guys. So that's what happened with that. So, if you're still in that place where you're just throwing a lot of stuff at the wall, yeah, I mean, do that, definitely. Doing that for 6 months helped me sort of see what I wanted to do, the stuff that I kind of wanted to use, and it made people respond to me and give me advice, and that's something that is when another comic talks to you, or people are just giving you any sorts of feedback because they get excited. They want to tell you who you remind them of, and then that's something you can take back later and research this person, see what it is about them, you know what they do well that you're also doing well, or maybe not so great at, and you can use that to level up for the next time. So definitely take that period and just go out there and try out a lot of different things. Just make it an experiment, and then you're going to get to a point, hopefully, where you're being you're setting more of an intention with your sets. You're focusing on one thing more, and really polishing that one thing, because you want to get to the point where you have your nice polished 5 minute set. And the weird thing about this is I really didn't think that this set was as long as it was. It wasn't as long as that. It was 8 minutes on stage, which is great because we got 8 minutes that night. So it was like he gave me my 1 minute flash right when I was about to wrap up. So it worked out really well. But I thought it was going to be 5 minutes. So not as great at timing these sets as hopefully I will be in the future. And also, when you get out there and the energy of the crowd is coming at you, you just do it differently than you do it to the wall in your room. So keep that in mind. I'm assuming that I'm going to develop a feel for this at some point. I can do that when I'm writing. Give me a word count and I can hit it, and I can hit it, and the story will flow, and it will have all the nice little things. And I just have a feel for hitting certain word counts just because I did that for so long because I was a journalist and had to do it every single week with several pieces. So I'm assuming that this is going to be somewhat similar. I'm going to just develop a feel for it. So just get out there and do it and make your mistakes and do your things. I can't imagine how I'm going to cut this thing down, further to have that 5 minutes, or maybe not cut it down, but just I'll present it differently on stage. I'm not sure what I did to make it longer. I do know I had some parts of it, or one part of it, that I was dramatizing, so that may have taken up the time because you start doing physical stuff, people start giving you responses, you start responding to the responses. So it's a little dance that you do with your audience. So that was fun. That was a good experiment. I'm going to keep doing that. I have a new set that I have taken notes for, because one of the things apparently about me that's gotten into my persona is I do things. I get myself into situations. I just had a night out with a friend last night, and it was just some really strange things happened. And I said, that's me. You never know what's going to happen when you go out with me. I mean, just strange things. Like, we were doing normal stuff. We went out to eat, but it was just odd things happened. And so that's just part of who I am. And that's why I wound up in the swamp with alligators and not, a wilderness person. I do not go out seeking these things, but I just wind up in situations. And so I embrace that and sort of get the comedy out of it. So my next set that I'm writing is something that I'm really excited about in my life, and I've been talking nonstop about it, and people are sick of it. So that's a big clue that I need to take it to the comedy stage because I have an audience for this story. Um, I just got I just started using VR, virtual reality. I've got I've never gotten a gaming system before, and I've used them because I've been close to people who had them. Like, my ex had like this jumble of of systems that we used and that he had been collecting for years. And so I played with it, and I've had friends who have systems, and I played with that. But I've never committed to one myself. But now there's VR, and it's just fascinating. And I have one, and I've been playing Vader Immortal, and I love it. I don't care if you hate it. I love it. A coworker turned me onto it. He loves it. I got sick of him talking about it, and then I went into it, and now people are sick of me talking about it. I think it's an incredible experience. Um, and I responded to it in the way that I respond to things weirdly. This is why I'm a comic, guys. I think that's what drives us to this I don't know what it is. It's not a job, because I'm not getting paid for it. But I think we start doing this because we need another outlet, because the normal outlets of life just aren't doing it for us anymore. People are sick of hearing our stories, or we want to hone those stories and make them into a work of art. And so, but I think a lot of that urge comes from the fact that we experience life a little bit differently. And so that's why people want to come with us on the ride. They want that different experience. And so when I went into the VR world and experienced that Vader Immortal, what happens, guys, is you got him right in front of your face, which is he's just right there in the room with you. And it just, wow. I was the total, my inner child is so mad at me right now because I didn't go, ooh, the bad guy. I'm sitting there fangirling. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was so impressed by the whole experience that I'm goofy. I'm goofy in there. I'm scared of everything. So I mean that's part of who I am. I'm a scaredy cat, but I'm a very brave scaredy cat. So I go in there and I'm with the robots and I'm fighting the robots, and robots scare the crap out of me, let me tell you. Um so I'm in there having these experiences, and I'm in a tiny little room. In reality, my play area is not that big, so I keep having to. But you're walking on this in this area that's much bigger than the room that you're actually in. So you rotate the room, but it makes you. I know it makes me look like a goofball. And I'm trying to, you're trying to follow Darth Vader, and he's this really tall guy, and he's taking these long strides, and here you are trying to, oh, I've got to turn my room. I'm coming, so, so just, and then I'm surrounded by stormtroopers, and I put my hands up because I'm a big goof. Um, so I'm just, so I'm going to share certain aspects of that experience, um, that I had and that I continue to have because it's just so much fun. But I just see things in a different way, and I'm probably doing different things, in there than some people are doing, because I just want to check out the world so much, and I want to check out his boots a lot too, because I really like boots, and because it's freaking Darth Vader, I want to know what kind of boots he's wearing. So you know, that was interesting. Um, so that's going to be my new set, and the reason I'm bringing that up, well, the real reason I'm bringing that up is I'm not done talking about it yet, and you guys are gonna come hopefully and hear me talk about it when all my other people are done with me on that subject. But one thing about being a comedian is that you see the world differently, and you're helping other people see the world differently as well. But you're walking a fine line there, because you don't want to be too weird on stage, or people won't be able to relate to you. So one thing I'm going to be delving into next is relatability and comedy, and walking that line between showing them something different, showing them a new way of looking at I guess common experiences. Um, so, but without making it so abstract for them, without trying to make it too abstract, without putting on just a freak show that they're not going to be able to relate to. So that's good. Having that restriction on your work, it actually makes you more creative. So you funnel it through the persona, and you also have those relatability restrictions on yourself. And my theory is that when you're kind of in that zone, the set's going to write itself. Your real work is in cutting it down and shaping it, but it's going to write itself, really. So my question to myself as I write this thing, I've got notes for it. That's all. I haven't started shaping it yet. I just there were funny moments, that I noticed. Like I noticed that I felt safer when he was there than when he wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, if your life has gotten to a point where you feel safer when Vader is in the room than when he's not, something has happened to you in your life. And I wanted to explore that because I imprinted on him like a baby duck, which is, just probably, it seemed odd to me that I would have that reaction. So I want to explore that. But I've got to do it in such a way that it is understandable and on an emotional level. It's not that I'm talking about complicated stuff here, but what about my experience is common to most people, and I haven't found that commonality yet. But in setting the intention, I'm putting a little note in my head to keep my eyes out open for that as I work on it. What is that common thread? What is that thing that we can all relate to? As I tell my weird little story about my weird little experience. I just got a notification on my phone. um, so, what about it is relatable to the average person who's going to be coming to my shows? And part of asking myself that question is I'm finding my audience. I don't really know who my audience is yet. Is it more, just a generalized audience? Or am I finding specific people? Are specific types of people going to find me and start coming to see me? And am I going to be like a little niche comic? I don't know. I heard Ellen DeGeneres talk about how she was developing who she was as a comedian. And part of her, I mean, she's gay, so that's part of what was coming out, in her stories. But I think she had a point where certain members of her audience weren't relating to her because she was too gay on stage, and then certain other members of her audience weren't relating to her because she was not gay enough. So she, at some point, I think she just relaxed and just did what felt good to her. And those people who related to what she was doing, they found her. It wasn't about I'm trying to be too something or not something enough for these people. Um, you're finding, I think, what feels good and natural to you, and you're just making that bigger. I love Ellen. I'm not gay, and I relate to her because she's just a big goof. She's so goofy. I love, and I mean that in a wonderful way, because I'm a big goof too, and so I relate to uh, the experiences she has where she's embracing the awkward. She embraces the awkward of life, and that's what I love about Ellen, and that's what I'm trying to do as well. I just my life, yeah, life is awkward and weird, and most of the time, I think we try to. I'm talking about we as people in general, not comedians. But I think the natural thing that we do in life is try to minimize the awkward, which is hard because it's going to be there. And what comedians do, what a lot of comedians do, what a comedian like Ellen will do is they will engage with that awkwardness, because that's just part of life. That's something that every single person experiences. I don't care how cool they seem on the outside, they probably don't feel as cool on the inside. um, and they're having their experiences with the awkwardness of life too. So that's something that she has that's very relatable to everyone. And I want to find that nugget in this particular story. That is the relatable thing. Maybe it's maybe that's it. Maybe it's the awkwardness of engaging with the world in the way that I engage with the world. Um, I've been told I do awkward well. I honestly, folks, I don't know when I'm doing it. I don't know when I'm doing it. So there's a lot of self knowledge that comes out as you're developing your comedy. So I wanted to mention those things. That might be it. I have notes. I have to have notes, guys. I really do. Or I'll just talk about the same thing all day long. Oh yeah, so that's it. I'm just kind of figuring out relatability and how to who is my audience? I don't know. You guys, for one thing, you keep coming to see me. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That you guys think I have something worthwhile to say, and I'm really excited about sharing all this with you guys. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to be talking about related next week. I've got something a little special planned. I don't know if because next week this is my ninth video. So next week is number 10. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit and where the channel is going and all that kind of good stuff. But after that, I'm going to get back to talking about the Vader set and talking about relatability and see what happens. As that's the experiment for this week, I guess, is that I'm finding that nugget of relatability in a story that is just really weird. It's just the way I engage with life is just a little bit different. So I'm trying to own that. I'm trying to own that. That's my assignment to myself in my life. And comedy is a is one way of accomplishing that, and just a way of saying hi to people and saying, hey, isn't this life thing that we're doing together? Isn't it weird and fun? And not and get people. I want to get people out of the mundane. Out of the whole, okay, here we are, I do the thing and I get mad at this and this always makes me mad and I always lose my keys and no, and it's boring. And it's not boring, it's hilarious. The things that make people angry are hilarious. I laugh at myself. I try to laugh at myself when I get angry about things. And if you're a comedian and something's making you mad, that's a big tell. That's maybe something that you should work with in a story or a set. I know not everybody is a storyteller on stage. So, but I am, so I will call it stories. But um, so yeah, so use those things that really affect you. That's part of who you are. Something that is, and part of who I am is that my face does weird things. So yeah, that's something I used to try and get away from, but it's not something I can hide. So people are noticing. You have a face for comedy. Thanks. So no, it's part of who you are as a beautiful human being. And you want to rock that. You want to really embrace that and get to know that and appreciate it in yourself, because I guarantee you, your friends, your family, somebody in your life is appreciating it. All those little things you hate about yourself, there's somebody who loves that stuff about you. And so if you can magnify it on stage, then you'll find your people, because they'll be drawn to that, and they'll be drawn to the fact that you're comfortable with it, or at least trying to be comfortable with it. One thing that is kind of nuts about me is I do, and I think this is common to performers. Honestly, I have more anxiety, experience more anxiety than probably the average. My normal, but that's my normal. Um, I do. I have it's generalized anxiety, which means, yeah, I can joke about it and say I'm afraid of everything. You know, excuse me. I do not have the coronavirus, guys. I have allergies. Allergies. Okay. I do not have the beer virus. Come on. Um, but if you get that, then, get to know somebody with Lyme disease, because that goes together. Yeah, that's a terrible joke, and I stole it from somebody. It's awful. I feel guilty about it, but that's just the way my brain works. But no, I forgot what I was saying, which I do sometimes. Oh yeah, yeah, I can be an anxious person, and the way mine works is, um, it's kind of random. What it's like, the things I'm supposed to be afraid of, I'm not afraid of, but the things that, like, the normal stuff in life, they freak me out sometimes. Um, so which I think it can be kind of funny, because, again, with the VR, sorry, I'm in there, facing the fear. Robots, okay, robots legitimately scare me. There's something about them. I don't know what it is. So I'm in this science fiction world fighting robots, and for me, it's a great opportunity to kind of learn to control that fear. To kind of have fun with the fear. That's another thing. Is fear is fun for me. So I do those things, that make me a little crazy just to have the experience of doing them. And I can't really explain that, but I think that's part of what leads to some of the experiences I do have. I can be very intense and funny, and why I can be in a situation that's kind of a scary situation and just pause and check out somebody's boots, you know, just because, you know, doing something for me, it's like, and I've traveled, I've done all sorts of things. I've been to Eastern Europe. I stayed there for a year one time, which was fun and scary, just because you're away from home for so long. But and people ask me, how in the world do you do that? Because they're telling me that they couldn't do that. Wow. I'm like, wow, you're so. I might as well. It's no more scary for me to get on the plane than to walk out the front door in the morning. To be honest with you, they are the same to me. So I might as well do the big thing too, or to make these videos. This is scary for me to show up for you guys and for myself, and to show who I really am, and to talk about stuff like this. And the reason I'm talking about stuff like this is when a lot of people say you shouldn't talk about stuff like this, you should hide that. I'm an artist. I can't hide my stuff. I have to use my stuff. That's fodder. That's fuel. Anything that you're trying to hide, because it's vulnerable. It feels vulnerable. It feels vulnerable for me to come and sit, in front of an audience, even you just on screen, and talk about things I'm afraid of, because I'm afraid of a lot of things, but I don't let it stop me. I use that. And I think that's a good thing. And that's what I'm trying to help other people do is, be afraid. Carrie Fisher said, be afraid and do it anyway. Don't be afraid to look a little crazy and get out there and live your life out loud. So that's my main message, I guess. And, I just want you guys to go out there, even you non-comedians, go out there and do the thing. Do the thing you want to do more than anything. Um, just go out there and live your life. If it's a positive thing, if it's a good positive thing, um, just go out there and do it, and make the thing that's going to help people, make the thing that's going to help you, and make the thing that's going to be fun. And yeah, it's a lot of people don't do it because they think that because they have the fear of doing it, that means something's wrong with it, or it's not the right time. But no, all of the people out there who are accomplishing things are afraid to do the things that they're doing, even if they don't seem afraid. They're afraid, and they're doing it anyway. So embrace that little dark side nugget, I guess. Go out there and do it anyway. Don't let it control your life, is I guess what I'm saying with these videos. And also the fact that I just really like having an audience listen to me. That's another thing. It's like I'm not afraid of I love public speaking. I love getting up there. And a lot of people are afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of telephones. A telephone rings and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I'm good at telephones. I enjoy um, connecting with people in all mediums, but there's just something weird about a disembodied voice, and you know, and I've it's such an odd thing. So yeah, oh, that's a big reveal. That's a big reveal. These little things. I text a lot, partly because it's so convenient and quick, and partly because I'm also afraid if I get into a phone conversation, I'm going to stay in that conversation for a long time because I do this, I do this. I'm like, I just want to get in there and go into the rabbit hole with this person and find out everything about them. Because I did have a job once where I was, for many years, where I was on the phone a lot. And that was what I was doing. I was interviewing people. And I guess there's that little, I'm just going to go into interview mode if I'm on the phone with you. So, but it's exciting too. There's an exciting part of that. The telephone for me is not a mundane object. When that ringer happens, when that ring rings, it takes you out of whatever you're doing, and there's this possibility. Who is that? Who is that I'm going to be talking to for the next 6 hours if I get my way? So there's that little bit of like, oh my God, the phone is ringing. my this is about to change my life in some kind of way. It's a big thing for me, a ringing telephone. But yes, and that's something I think about um, all the time because for me, possibility is like it's such a big thing. Everything I feel like Alice in Wonderland in my life all the time, like 24/7. And so just something with such possibility, like a ringing telephone, it's like you're turning the corner. It's this mundane thing that's causing you to turn the corner in your day. And what's going to happen? And who are you going to talk to? And are you ever going to let them go? So yeah, that's a thing for me. Wow, I did not expect to be talking about that today. So use that stuff. I'm sure I'm going to be doing a set on telephones at some point if enough crazy stuff happens around that. I've had some very interesting conversations on phones. Um, and why I'm obsessed with them, I don't know. But there you go. It's just, possibility. It's just I think as a comedian or as an artist or as a person in general, we separate comedians and we separate artists and we say, okay, this is how we live and you guys live that way. I just think that maybe and there's no we are all artists. That's a normal part of being a person. You're just because you're not a professional at it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it. you know Paint your pictures for fun. Little kids do it. They're smarter than we are. They know why art exists for human expression, and they have something to express. They're going to sit down and draw a picture, and we get out of that and stop. Do that. That's your assignment for this week. Go get a little stack of printer paper and some crayons or pens or something, and sit down and draw a kid picture like you used to do when you were a kid. What's on your mind now? Put it into the picture. Just do it for fun. Just do it for fun. I know what you're thinking. People are going to think I'm weird. Be weird. I'm weird. Be weird with me. Come on, draw this picture and just kind of see what it feels like. You're supposed to feel something with it. You don't have to hang it in the loo, for crying out loud. Put it on the refrigerator. It's an expression of who you are, and that's a beautiful thing. And your comedy is an expression of who you are, and that's a beautiful thing. And whatever else you're doing is an expression of who you are, and that's a beautiful thing. And when your friends are doing their beautiful things, encourage them. Don't make fun of them. Encourage them. Let that happen. Let life happen. And whoa, this went off the deep end, didn't it? But that's a message that I really that's my why. That's my why. That's my big why of why I'm creating these videos is I want you to see that you can do it too. And it's a good thing and it's an amazing thing. And I don't mind tooting my own horn. And because I think that people need to notice that I'm doing it so that they will do it too. Come play with me, guys. Life is about we're here to play and to love each other. And play is an expression of love. When you're playing with your kid or you're playing with your friend or you're playing by yourself, you're expressing love. We were meant to do that. Animals do it and it creates joy. And there's so much in life that is not joyful. When you allow yourself to feel joy by taking some crayons and creating a picture and not judging yourself about how good it is, it's not about being good. It's not about getting somebody's praise. It's about expressing love. Um, and that's always a beautiful thing. So don't worry about being Monet or not. Monet's not here. You're here. Do your thing. Create your beauty. Create your love. Make people laugh because laughter is medicine, and we need to do it. Some people. I'm tearing up now. Some people made me laugh last night. I went out to see Schrodinger's cat, who is a troupe of wonderful um, improv artists that we have here in Augusta. I'm in Augusta, Georgia, by the way. And I cried. I laughed so hard at some of the things that they were doing. And um, I'm so grateful for that because that affected how I am today. How I'm showing up for you today is partly because of how they showed up for me last night. And they don't realize they're probably judging themselves about their performances like we do. But it's, they did a wonderful thing for me. And my friend who came out with me, hi Val, if you're watching, if you're not watching, why? So yeah, so it's just a beautiful thing. So let it happen. And I'm gonna stop talking now because I've come to the end of what I wanted to say. But I just really want you guys to, and yeah, comment. And if you've got specifically, yeah, if you've got stuff that will help me make these videos better, and know about tools that I don't, because if it's a tool, I probably don't know about it. So please, yes, share it with me. And gradually over time, you're gonna see this channel become better and better because of you. It's not just all me. It's you're in this with me. We're in this together. So I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends about my comedy experiment philosophy channel. I don't know. And just kind of let them come, and hopefully there's some goodness here for everyone and some positivity. And my nose itches. And it's going to be fun for everybody because I want life to be fun for everybody. And yeah, and hug people and do that kind of thing, and set your notifications on loud so you can know when I'm doing this. It's Saturdays, but eventually soon I'm going to also get into Instagram, and so you guys can see the madness that is my life in the middle of the week, and where I am and how I'm going crazy, and being tempted not to go on, being tempted to run away and hide and that sort of thing. So yeah, things are moving, things are changing, things are doing their things, and I love you guys, and I will see you next week. And I'm gonna try not to look like too much of a goofball as I end my stream here.